I was once robbed at gunpoint when I worked at a Holiday Inn. Shh, don't tell anybody. One time, right after my husband and I got married, we snuck into an apartment complex pool and we went skinny dipping. Shh. At 61 years of age, I've gone back to college. My husband once gave me, as a surprise for my birthday, a helicopter ride. This is the shirt that I got. My dad taught me to shoot a rifle when I was 6 years old, and I've kept it up all these years. About 10 years ago, my husband was away from home working, and I woke up in the middle of the night one night and there was a man standing beside my bed. There were two other men in the apartment and they were robbing our house. Fortunately, they ran. One New Year's Eve when I was in college, I didn't have anything to do, so I got in the car and drove to Memphis, Tennessee from Atlanta. I used to work in a hotel. I was the night auditor, and I had an agreement with my boss that when I finished my work I could leave. So I would catch a cab, go to the airport, and fly to New Orleans, spend about 3 or 4 hours there, fly back to Atlanta, and be back behind the desk before anybody got there at 7 a.m. I'd do that about 2 or 3 times a week. When I was 8 years old, I was on vacation and I went horseback riding, and the horse got tired and he laid down on me. I got my first job as a church pianist when I was 12 years old. One time when I was in college, my boyfriend and I snuck backstage and met Joan Sutherland. I've music directed a lot of shows, several with over 100 in the cast. When I worked at the hotel, one of our guests called down to the desk and said that he had been robbed by a hooker. A police officer asked me to go to the room with him because I was the night manager. And when we got there, he made me strip search her. Ugh. I'm adopted. About 10 years ago, I found my birth mother, and along with her came 4 sisters and a brother, all of whom I love very much. I am a cancer survivor. When I was in high school, my life was saved by an angel. I have never been arrested. I love plants. It's just that I kill them. Every plant I've ever owned has died. I used to be the music teacher at a private school. I was married before. His name was Don Kirsch. I used to tell God I was listening, I just wasn't listening closely enough. I am currently the pianist at the 3rd largest Methodist church in Florida. We named our daughter Chapin after Lauren Chapin from Father Knows Best from many, many years ago. And when she was about 13 years old, we all actually got to meet Lauren Chapin. I've never been out of the country. One time I was in North Carolina and I went white river rafting and I fell out of a kayak and almost died. I have worn glasses since I was 30 years old. My husband Don and I used to have our own TV show on public access. I used to own a sheepdog. One time I was driving and the dog was in the back seat. I had bucket seats in my car and the dog attacked me between the seats.
Too many details. So many details.
Okay.
I'm driving one time and my dog freaking attacked me. Just like that. Oh, too many details. The seats were brown and they were leather. It was 4 o'clock and I had on a striped shirt. Too many. Take 3.
I used to own a sheepdog, and I was driving one day and he friggin' attacked me.
Okay.
My youngest daughter, Kelsey's name came from a contest at Don's work. The guy won 25 bucks. I started taking piano lessons when I was 5 years old, and my teacher used to get on to me every time I would go to my lesson because my fingernails would click on the keys, so that's when I started biting my fingernails. We used to have a cat named Percy, and one day we saw him out in the backyard, and he was nose to nose. He was nose to nose with this big, long, black snake. That was scary. My favorite singer of all time is Barbara Streisand. My favorite movie? Somewhere in Time. I used to be a regular singer on Channel 22's Good Night Alive. I played Farmville. My first dog's name was Sugar. She was a little bitty black and white terrier. Toy terrier, actually. Part Chihuahua. I met my husband on a blind date. 24 hours later, he asked me to marry him. I said yes. Here we are. 34 years later. I had to think about it. Yeah, I had to think about it. One time my sister-in-law and I borrowed a truck from a friend, and we had to start the truck with a screwdriver. And then we were driving down the road, and all of a sudden she reached down to switch the gears, and the gear shift came off in her hand. She was waving it in the air. Nothing happened. I mean, we didn't have a wreck or anything. When I was in college, I was at a cast party for a show, and my friend borrowed my car and totaled it. My mom was not happy. One Christmas, my sister-in-law and I went with a bunch of ladies from the church on a garage sale day, and we completely got all the toys and all the clothes and everything, all the Christmas presents for less than $200 at one day of garage sailing. And that was for her 5 kids, my 4 kids, her husband, my husband, everybody. It was awesome. I have a secret yen to go skydiving. I always wanted to go see the Lipizzan stallions, and a few years ago my daughter Kelsey took me on my birthday. When I was 13 years old, my father fell off a ladder at work and hurt himself very badly, and he died when I was 16. When I was a kid, the neighborhood kids on the street that I lived on played one long Monopoly game all summer one year in our carport. I have 8 wonderful grandchildren, and they all call me GJ. That stands for Grandma Judy, because when the first one came along, I wasn't ready to be a grandmother. So I said, they call me GJ. My favorite restaurant is Sweet Tomatoes because I love salads. When I was growing up, I spelled my name with a Y. Then I met a guy and I was dating him. His name was Henri. He spelled it with an I, and he thought it'd be neat if we spelled our names similarly. So I started spelling my name with an I, and it's been almost 40 years now, and it's stuck. Some of my very best memories are when the kids were growing up and we used to take vacation with the Maranatha family and go to Roan Mountain, Tennessee. I like sushi. I went camping with my parents at a lake, and my friend and I decided to take a walk down to the beach after dinner, and it got dark, and we just kept walking. We didn't realize it was 5 miles around the lake, and we kept walking and walking. All we had was some lifesavers. We shared those, and eventually my parents found us, but they were not happy. When I was little, I used to play checkers with my grandfather, and I'd say, "Hold on just a minute, Pop, I gotta cheat just a little."
Did he like that?
Huh?
Did he like that?
Did he like that? No. He would say, Well, then I'm not gonna play with you if you're gonna cheat. I'm only rarely funny. Not usually when I plan to be or try to be. It's some other time. Well, there it is. 50 things you didn't know about me. Bye.